Southeast Queensland entered one of its most destructive afternoons in recent years as a powerful supercell storm formed rapidly over the region. The system darkened the sky within minutes, spreading across Brisbane, Moreton Bay, the Gold Coast hinterland, and the Sunshine Coast. The storm intensified with unusual speed, transforming humid air and thick cloud into a violent weather event. Giant hailstones, measuring nearly 10 to 12 centimeters across, began falling without warning. These stones, roughly the size of a softball, struck suburbs with enough force to damage roofs, vehicles, and windows across a wide area. Meteorologists describe the system as a very dangerous supercell, fueled by a surface trough and unstable hot air that supported destructive winds and extreme hail. The atmosphere shifted dramatically in the early afternoon as clouds thickened and visibility dropped. The storm front advanced toward Brisbane, and daylight faded into a dim, storm-driven twilight. A sudden barrage of giant hail followed, producing loud impacts on metal roofs, car frames, and glass surfaces. Residents reported hearing continuous blasts as hail hit their homes and vehicles. Cars parked outdoors sustained heavy damage. Windshields shattered, body panels dented, and sunroofs broke apart under the weight and velocity of falling ice. Homes across multiple suburbs also faced severe damage. Roof tiles cracked or lifted, solar panels shattered, and gutters collapsed under accumulating ice. The force of the hail punctured thin roofing materials and left visible holes across many structures. Wind gusts strengthened as the storm progressed. Several monitoring sites, including Brisbane Airport, recorded gusts above 100 kilometers per hour. The combination of hail, wind, and heavy rain overwhelmed outdoor structures and sent debris flying. Large trees lost branches or were uprooted entirely, taking down power lines as they fell. Streets quickly filled with fragments of metal, broken glass, torn leaves, and scattered ice. The storm plunged thousands of households into sudden darkness. More than 120,000 homes lost power, and in some districts the number exceeded 140,000. Several neighborhoods dropped into blackout while the storm was still intensifying, creating hazardous conditions for anyone outdoors or on the road. Drivers encountered blocked lanes as trees fell across major routes. Traffic lights shut down, leading to gridlocked intersections and long delays. Parents attempting to collect children from school were caught in heavy traffic and flooded areas as the storm peaked during afternoon pickup hours. Schools across the region implemented emergency procedures. Many kept students indoors until the danger passed, as hail and wind struck playgrounds, rooftops, and parking lots. A dramatic incident occurred in Logan Lea, where an entire roof was torn away from a home. The family escaped through a neighboring property as debris continued falling around them. In other districts, residents sheltered in place while hail hit their homes with explosive force. Some described the sound as resembling ongoing collisions rather than rainfall. Others stepped outside after the storm passed to find yards covered in a thick layer of green-tinted hail. Emergency crews received a surge of calls as the storm moved across Brisbane and surrounding regions. Fire and rescue units prioritized clearing fallen trees, stabilizing damaged roofs, and securing structures at risk of collapse. State emergency service teams responded to requests for tarping, temporary repairs, and tree removal. High-water vehicles and specialist crews were deployed to areas where power lines had fallen or where structural damage prevented safe access. Power companies worked to identify outages across a widespread and complex network. Fallen trees, broken poles, and snapped lines created multiple points of failure. Repair teams concentrated first on restoring electricity to large blocks of customers, then moved to individual streets. Meteorologists continued issuing warnings as the system retained strength while moving north. They emphasized that the storm displayed classic supercell characteristics, capable of producing giant hail and sudden high-energy wind bursts above 150 kilometers per hour. Weather authorities urged residents to remain indoors and to avoid driving through flooded roads or areas with fallen power lines. When the storm finally weakened, its damage became visible across a large swath of southeast Queensland. The Moreton Bay region experienced particularly severe impacts. Trees covered main roads, power lines hung dangerously low, and many communities remained without electricity for extended periods. Emergency crews faced a large backlog of work, and some roads remained impassable overnight. Car dealerships reported significant losses as rows of vehicles were left with shattered glass and dented metal panels. Industrial areas and schools suffered roof punctures from repeated hail strikes. Several business owners discovered water intrusion inside offices, workshops, and storage facilities. residential neighborhoods dealt with heavy cleanup demands. Many vehicles were no longer drivable after hail-pierced windshields or damaged critical components. Homes with older roofs faced widespread tile breakage. Some properties had sections of roof sheeting torn away, exposing interiors to rain and debris. In low-lying neighborhoods, sudden downpours overwhelmed drainage systems, turning streets into shallow streams. Blocked gutters and stormwater grates added to the overflow, leaving pools of water that covered sidewalks and front yards. Across social media, residents shared images of enormous hailstones, some held in both hands, alongside photos of broken windows, crushed vehicles, and roofs riddled with holes. Community groups organized local cleanup efforts, assisting elderly neighbors and clearing fallen branches from driveways. Insurance providers began receiving large numbers of claims within hours of the storm. Early estimates suggested that the number of damaged homes and vehicles continued rising as assessments progressed. The scope of the destruction indicated a lengthy recovery period for many households. Meteorologists cautioned that the larger weather pattern remained unstable. Hot and humid air persisted across the region, and a surface trough extended along the coast. These conditions created potential for further thunderstorm development over the following days. Residents in the Sunshine Coast, Moreton Bay, and nearby inland areas were advised to remain alert. Authorities warned that damaged roofs, leaning trees, and weakened structures posed ongoing hazards even after the storm had passed. Cleanup crews also faced risks from loose debris and unstable power lines. Power restoration was expected to take time due to the scale of the destruction. Repair teams needed to assess each affected zone, remove fallen trees, and replace damaged infrastructure. Insurance inspections would continue over the coming days as families documented property losses. Many residents faced immediate challenges, including unusable vehicles, compromised homes, and temporary displacement while repairs were underway. The giant hailstorm that struck Brisbane and southeast Queensland served as a stark reminder of how quickly severe weather can escalate. A normal afternoon shifted into an emergency within minutes. Towering storm clouds evolved into giant hailstones tearing across suburbs. Winds lifted roofs, uprooted trees, and darkened entire neighborhoods. The event left lasting physical and emotional impacts on thousands of households. Recovery will require time, resources, and coordinated community support as residents rebuild, restore damaged infrastructure, and prepare for further instability in the days ahead.